You are known as one of the best, if not the best coach in the GCC. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, thank you for these words. Actually, it's the first time I hear this. It's really amazing for me to hear that I'm helping the players to improve their levels and to be one of the coaches here in UAE from the beginning that is trying to push the level up. Honestly, I don't know if I'm the best one or not, or if I'm even close to a real high level coach for a professional player. But of course, I do it my best. I try to commit always to every level to help and to think that each of the players have the possibility and the opportunity to grow the level and to achieve to the goals that they have and expectations. That's all.
Like you said, you've been here pretty much since the beginning of paddle in the UAE. When did you arrive?
2020, I
20.
arrived. The 2020 already there were some clubs here, but it's true that after COVID time, a lot of countries had the explosion of paddle for different reasons, and I came this year. So I can say that from the beginning of in the clubs in Dubai, starting the growing paddle, I was here, and yeah, that was the time that I felt everything was growing pretty fast here.
You arrived during COVID?
2020, exactly after knockout, yes, after the lockdown, yeah, on October.
Okay, just when they let everybody go out again.
Exactly,
Because
yes.
where were you before that?
In Madrid. I was
Okay.
yeah, I was in Madrid for 5 years. I was the owner of one club there that suffered a lot for the COVID time. Tennis, paddle, different sports. We had also some small areas for gym, for social. And in the COVID time, we suffered a lot there. And well, me and my family decided to move to Dubai. We saw that it was a really good place to live, safe for my family, safe for my job, and we decided to move here.
I mean, it's a big decision to make. It's an expensive place to have children in Dubai. As I'm sure you're aware, it's a big commitment to bring them here. So, what made you decide, let's leave Spain and come to Dubai?
Uh, Honestly, in that time, I was traveling a lot, doing a lot of events in different countries. Padel was growing at that time in Europe pretty fast. FIP also was changing, and the World Padel Tour for me in that moment was more as a third part. My first, as I said before, commitment was the club, was my base, and then I was traveling every time more and more because the opportunities was outside of Spain. I have 3 kids, and with my wife, we thought that it was a great time for us to travel, leave the comfortable place that we had always in Spain, and give the opportunity also for the kids to learn other cultures, religions, languages, and for us also to give the opportunity to keep growing through paddle. So that I don't regret. I'm really happy that we moved and we find opportunities here.
Were you competing in the World Padel Tour at that time?
Yes, I was competing in that time. I stopped playing 100% of the tournaments. My partner was Sergio Alba. In that moment, we were team 45 more or less together in the tournaments and ranked 93 in the individually ranking. But it's true that for me it was more important how safe was my family and to bring food to the table than playing the World Padel Tours and only traveling.
Were you making any money playing in the World Padel Tour at
World
that time?
Padel Tour, no, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Yes.
So it was
Only
all
was
coming from your pocket.
correct. Yes. All investment is for achieve to our goals and to for me the age that I have and that I had in that moment, it was more investment of knowledge, get connected to all the players that were younger than me and growing with the tour and with the changing of paddle in that moment was more for me the most interest part than to be the top player in the world.
Makes sense. When you were competing, in your opinion, up to which number in the world did people actually make money from paddle?
In that moment, until I think the first 20 players were doing something great as business. After that was very difficult to find rentability. Now I think the prize money and the different tours allows you to make it more rentable. Maybe in the top 50, top 60 can do some business with the tours, but still it's pending to keep growing in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult at a professional level, even today, even though there's a lot more investment that's gone into the sport in the past few years. And back to your coaching, let's say you go back 4 years.
Yes.
What would you say to yourself 4 years ago?
Oh, I think I wouldn't change anything of how I decided or did the different changes in my life to come here. Of course, it's a more risky situation when you have the family on your back. But when you have the opportunity to travel outside, to live the experience, to meet more players, more coaches, clubs, and I think it's a part of the investment for yourself as a coach career to live the opportunity and to see where is the best direction for you to keep growing.
Yeah. And as I mentioned at the beginning, your reputation as a coach is very, very good. What is your coaching philosophy? And because your method is different than most people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can call it philosophy, but yes, it's true that I have a way to connect to the players and to create different situations in the court that are looking or willing for take the players get a lot of decisions, taking decisions while they are training. This is one part of the philosophy, if we can call it like this, or the method. I see padel as a strategy game. So I try to transfer all this knowledge as much as possible, the knowledge to the player so he understands what is padel about. And I see padel as a strategy, as a team sport. I try to find the weaknesses and the weapons for help each of the different players find their way. And I can say that I don't coach everyone the same, but it's true that I have different situations that I think are the most common in padel when you play matches and when you play tournaments. And I try to find in the players this idea of okay, let's gonna try to challenge more ourselves than the opponent, and see where is our limit.
It's interesting because you talk about strategy, and what we see a lot of coaching is technique, constant repetition of technique, the endless baskets of balls, of bandeja. At what point do you stop teaching the technique and start teaching the tactics?
This is funny question, and it's a good question. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't lose too much time on technique. Maybe it's right or maybe it's wrong, but I don't like to lose too much time changing one specific technique to hit the ball. I prefer to lose more time in the direction of the hitting, understanding where they should play that shot and why. And once they understand that, I go to the next step, which is helping them. If they don't find a way to play from the corner lob cross, I will try to help them technically to make them easier and find them the possibility to play there. But the most important for me before that, honestly, is that they know why they need to play from there, from the corner lob cross and not down the line. And as I said before, taking the decisions and understanding that you are taking the right decision, even if you made the mistake, for me is more important than the technique. So
Because it's true when you watch a lot of paddle, especially here, it's very random. The ball is going all over the place, like pinball is bouncing off everyone and everyone. There's no strategy, there's no one brain, there's no connection between the two players in the way that we play. Do you feel that's not taught enough here, or do you think it's just because people play socially and they don't care?
I think there is two parts. One is even if it's social, I think there is a part of it's like you put in the table a winner and you put in the same table four mistakes because you tried to find this winner. I think the people is enjoying more with the winner and they forget about the mistakes. It's like they like it more, and it's already compensable. It's already rentable for me. Lose 4 or 5 shots, but if I win one, I'm more happy, you know?
It's true, you do see that a lot. I mean, when people ask me about paddle, I often tell them paddle is a defensive game. It's not like tennis. Tennis, you win points. In paddle, you lose points. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, this is something I say a lot of to my students, to the players, is try not to play against your opponent. Try to play with your opponent. I try to make them understand that the other one is better than you. And when you understand and you accept that, you're gonna say, okay, look, it's rentable for me to risk too much, or I will accept that even my best shot is coming back, and maybe I understand that he's going to defend it, but what I need to find is how many times he's going to defend it, during how long he's going to defend that shot. Maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's one set, maybe it's in the 3-3, they
It's
cannot
true.
handle the
Often we don't
pressure.
give the opportunity to better players to miss.
Exactly.
We're trying to do too much. We're trying to win the point, and we end up giving them the game.
Exactly.
So let's say I'm playing against you, right?
Yeah.
You're a much better player than me.
Okay.
I'm left-handed. I'm on the right. You often play
But
on
with
the
the left,
left.
you are better than me.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. We should try it. But let's say I'm playing in the diagonal, right? I'm playing against you.
Yeah.
You're my coach. What would you recommend I can do
Yeah.
to beat you?
To play with me, to give me the opportunity to also take bad decisions and see if you can compete at the same time. Try to compete with the score, and see where is the opportunity. Maybe in the 5-5, in the 6-6, if you are willing to compete in that moment, maybe I take bad decisions, and you have the opportunity to
So
win,
to give you the chance
to make mistakes.
Okay. One thing I don't see discussed enough in paddle, whereas I see it a lot in tennis, is kind of like a traffic light for the score. So you know when it's 0-0, it's a green light. Try something.
Okay.
When it gets to 30-all, then it's an orange light.
Yes.
And then when it's a break point to your opponent, it's a red light.
Yeah.
And you need to adapt the way you play based on that score.
Yeah.
Do you discuss this with your students?
Yes, part of my trainings is to make them understand that it's not the same to play in the first 2-3 games than when you are competing in the tiebreak in the third set. It's not the same play 30-40 when you have advantage than that you have an opportunity to break the serve of the opponent than 15-all. There are some points that are more important than others, and this is important also for the players to try to learn it and to try to analyze it.
Do you think that's something that makes a big difference at the highest level? Because you see it in tennis. Because I mean, I watch a lot of tennis, right? Look at the people like Djokovic, like Alcaraz. You look at the important points, and you look at how they played those points. No matter what, they play really well. For example, yesterday I was watching Djokovic play his first round of the US Open.
Yeah.
He made about 40 unforced errors.
Yeah.
But he won 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. Didn't have a break point against him.
Exactly.
So those important points, he plays them exceptionally well. How would you recommend that someone improves playing well on important points?
It's competing, exactly. You talking about Novak Djokovic is the best players that we are talking about one sport, and that's why they are good, because they compete perfect in the moments that they need to compete, and they understand in which moment it's important to make them first mistake, and which moment is less important. But competing a lot will help you to improve in this.
Do you still compete?
I try to compete, yeah, locally here. Yeah.
And how does that go for you?
It's okay, yeah. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. I try to enjoy.
Do you enjoy it still?
Yeah, I enjoy a lot. When I compete, I feel free, honestly.
That's actually something that I noticed when I saw you play a tournament. It was about 2-3 years ago, and I think it was in WPA, and I can't remember who you were playing with, but there was no way you were going to win the match. You had no chance. Like the level difference was huge between your team and the team that you were playing against.
Okay.
But you fought for every single point. You do not give up.
Yeah.
Is that something that's just in your mind? Like you cannot? Can you play for fun, friendly, or you have to win?
No, it's very difficult for me to play only for fun and not thinking about winning. I always have in my mind that I want to do my 100%. Doesn't matter who is in front. I like to compete for winning, and this is my mentality. Yeah.
How long have you been coaching now?
I think around 14 years, more or less. Yeah.
How do you maintain that motivation
Hmm.
to wake up in the morning,
Mhm.
to go on the court 7, 8 hours a day,
Yes.
to plan your lessons for the repetition? How do you maintain that stability?
Yeah. For me, the motivation, always I say it, is my family. Is my first motivation. It's why I work for. Of course, I am some days more tired than others, but it's true that I don't think too much on this. I am focused more on how the other player can improve. I don't know. I think in my mind, I'm always trying to find the solution for help the other player. I don't see it as a job, honestly, and maybe that's why I don't realize when I did this year 2,000 hours
Wow.
of sessions. So yes.
So if you don't see it as a job, what do you see it as?
No, I see it as a motivation. I feel very happy when I'm helping the player. At the end of the day, the students become your friends. You enjoy trying to find the solutions for them, listening how they compete in the last weekend and it didn't go well, and you enjoy when it went well. And when I'm resting in the weekend, that they write me and send me a picture, look, I won the tournament, or I'm in the final. So I enjoyed that moment. I feel that the effort is going well, and and I enjoy it and I like it. So this is, I think, my motivation.
And how do you structure your lessons?
I have a specific program for the players, depending if they are alone or if they want to practice with their partners. So I follow that programs, and I try to do it with more details sometimes when the level is higher, and when the level is lower, I try to adjust for they have more complete this program with my team. In some courts, some hours of the day of the training of the week, they have more technique, which is the part that I work less. And then I adjust all the structure for them to follow this program. That's it. Yeah.
Makes sense. And in the UAE, as opposed to a lot of other countries, you see a lot of individual lessons.
Yes.
I feel paddle is a team sport. There's
Mm.
4 people on the court, right? Why are we not coaching more in groups?
Yeah, that's important. Groups is good if you have the structure to make it in a long term. Sometimes the group sessions become very repetitive. You end up only doing points, and the people start to get bored. So I think the people start these group sessions and come back again to the private ones. They feel like they're stuck. The second thing is very important. The players, they always make their plans individually, and this is something I try to transmit to the players that are training with me. Uh, you need to have a project. You need to have a partner to practice, to play your matches, to play your tournaments, to have a project for at least 3-4 months commitment with the same partner, and with a strategy of tournaments, start looking for the results. It's very difficult every week, every 2 weeks, you play with different partner.
Hmm.
You're gonna see that you improve by time, but it's not the right way to improve. The best way and to see the results is to improve with your partner.
I feel also there's an issue with scheduling
Mm.
in Dubai. In Dubai, lots of people travel, they leave the country, they come back. No one knows what they're doing in 1 month, 2 months, let alone next week. Whereas in Europe, I feel people's schedules, it's set for 10 years. No one changes. They know they're going to play paddle every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Yes.
for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's true, a lot of people come, they leave, and they travel. And so it's hard to
It's more
schedule
difficult.
those group sessions. Are you managing to get groups as well? Or
Yeah, we are now starting more the philosophy of the academy in September, and this is the plan. But it's true that, for example, in Spain, I can do it for 1 year commitment, nothing happens, and here you have to do it for 2-3 months.
okay, and what's the academy going to look like? Let's say someone listening wants to join your academy.
Yeah, that would be
What's the
great.
idea? Yeah, we'll put a link to it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Put your phone number.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you're gonna have every week a planning with 90 minutes with 2 hour session, where we're gonna work in 2-3 different courts with 2-3 different coaches, and with zones we're gonna be working specifically with one player with one team, and we're gonna find a way for these two to commit to the consistency training, technique training, and strategy training.
Okay, so it's a whole all in one. And how many weeks is it?
It's gonna be until December.
Okay, so it's like a
Yes.
3 month program.
Exact. 3 months program, and then we're gonna restart again.
Yeah, it's true
in
here
January,
when
yeah.
at Christmas everyone is gone anyway.
Yeah.
And do you work on the mental side of the game?
Yes, a lot. I work a lot on this during my session. It's not that I stop the training for this, but it's true that during the session I work a lot on the mentality. I try to see where is the limit of the player and analyze until where I can push and try to implement the mentality of competitive, of consistency, of suffering, because so many times the player don't want to suffer too much. So before arriving to 8, 9, 10 shots, they want to finish the point with a risky shot. So
So what does the limit look like
the limit of the
of a
play
player mentally?
mentally,
Where's that limit?
always the limit the player decided, but depends the level. But the more you are better, the better player you are, the longer rallies you are ready to play, and you get less bored. Let's say, entre parentheses, you get less bored during the point. Sometimes I have to understand that I will see my partner playing for 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, and I need to be with him. That makes me bored. So I receive my ball and try to do something, and not understand that, okay, look, maybe in that moment I need to be mentally stronger.
Yeah,
So
this
to find
happens
a
to me
solution.
a lot. Like if the ball's going cross court, cross court, cross court, and I'm standing there watching, at some point I switch off,
Yeah.
and then the ball comes to me, and I'm not even
Exactly,
holding the
exactly.
racket. I'm just watching. So I find it really hard to stay focused on those things. And how do you change that mindset? Like, let's say, how do you get someone to focus and stay focused during a match?
Yeah, in the trainings, there are so many different ways to practice that, and we do it. But it's true that it will depend a lot on the player. As I said before, if he has the commitment, he has the intention of changing something, he will find a way to, with the program, with the training, with the competition, with your partner, respecting your partner. You're gonna find a way to get less bored.
An interesting one someone told me, because often when I'm playing, my mind is everywhere outside the court, what's
Okay.
going on there, I'm watching
Yeah,
other
exactly.
things. But this person told me to touch the glass between the points,
Yeah.
to physically touch the glass, to kind of anchor my presence within the court, to remind myself I'm here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to have a physical kind of touch or to
Yeah.
touch a certain part of the court or something, that really helped me keep myself in the game.
This is very good.
So this is something that maybe
I
other
like it.
people
Yeah,
can
my
try.
mother, when I was competing in tennis, when I was younger, she used to tell me, look at the tree that is close to your court and focus only on this. And that was helping me, because sometimes I'm competing and I don't find my situation or my feelings in the court. I feel like I'm more looking into everywhere, and I find one point. Maybe it's one person in the crowd. Maybe it's a physically thing, like you said, touching the glass. That will help you to get the connection to the match and to the court. Yes.
Let's go back to the origin story. You mentioned your mom.
Yeah.
Tell us about your first experience with racket sports.
My first experience, my mother and my father used to play tennis when I was a kid, and every weekend and afternoons when they finished the work, they used to go to play tennis. And I was there in the club, and I started to play tennis when I was very little. Maybe I had 4 years, 3, 4 years, and yeah, that was my first time I take the tennis racket and start to play tennis
And where was this?
in Venezuela.
In Venezuela.
Uh,
Tennis is big in Venezuela?
Tennis is not big in Venezuela, but a lot of players. You have the interclubs. It's very social. The sport is very social there. You play every weekend against one different club. It's a very social sport, and I used to be connected to tennis.
And is paddle big in Venezuela?
Right now, it's growing. It started maybe a few years ago to grow, and yeah, we were participating for the first time in the Pan American Games, and now we try to classify for the World Cup in Qatar in October, but we didn't.
So obviously nothing like Argentina, nothing like
No, no, no.
okay.
We are far, very far.
Not as far as the UK, I think. I think you guys are.
No,
Are
UK
you
is
guys
good.
better than us?
No, 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 no.
Really?
UK is much better. Yeah,
UK is better than
yeah,
Venezuela?
100%.
Great. We're good at something.
Yeah, yeah.
And when did you start playing paddle?
When I started like 15 years ago, 14 years ago, with my tennis coach. He used to like paddle, so we start playing sometimes. And then when I stopped tennis, I switched to paddle.
And this was in Venezuela.
No, that was in Barcelona. I moved to Barcelona when I was 13 years old. I decided to play tennis, and I was very lucky to go there for many years, 12 years in Bruguera Academy in Barcelona, trying to play the tour.
And how was that?
I was tough. I was tough.
So as a 12, 13-year-old kid, you went to Spain
Yes.
just for tennis
Yeah, just for tennis, alone. Yeah,
with the
alone.
goal of being a professional tennis player.
Correct. Yeah.
And all you were doing was playing tennis, or you were schooling?
Only tennis, and then we used to practice from 8:30 in the morning until 1. Then we had a break for 1 hour and a half to eat, and then we were going again from 2:30 to 5. In all this timing, we were doing always tennis and fitness. So for 2 times per day fitness and 2 times per day tennis, and after that 5 to 5:15, 15 minutes we had break to take a shower fast, take the snack, and go running to the school, which is located in the same academy. So from 5:15 until 9:15 in the night, I was studying.
So you had the schooling after all that?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
must have been dead.
Yeah.
You're sleeping in the classroom.
No, well, sometimes yes, but sometimes yeah, but no, well, you have you get used to, you are motivated to change the time that you should be studying for trying to play tennis, and then you are motivated to do also good results in the school, because without good notes also you cannot keep playing tennis. So
Really?
yeah, that's important.
So you have to
Yeah,
patch your grades?
it's important. It's important to commit to the school and to have good notes, and to keep growing also as a person, not only as a sport person, also with the culture and with the study. And this is important also for the academy and for you and for your parents, to commit and respect the effort that they do it for the opportunity of playing tennis.
And at what point did you decide that you weren't going to be a professional tennis player?
I decided there is a time, a year, that you start competing and you see that the results are not coming. It's a lot of effort from your family to support the project. And I was 23, I think, 22. I had the opportunity to switch to be a coach in the Bruguera Academy. And that day, to have a break of 2 3 months, and then I started work with Mr. Bruguera in the academy, and I started feeling that the coaching part, I like it also. So yeah, I was 23, I think.
Okay. Because that's always a very difficult decision, right? It's the dream. It's what you've done
Yeah,
since
it's
you
the
were a
dream.
kid, everything you believed in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been through this, right? They want to be professional athletes and they're so close.
Yes.
And you got very close to that. So to make that decision to say no,
Yeah.
did it take you time to accept it, or you just like, we're done and we move on?
No, it takes you time. It takes you time, and actually, you are, as I said, the last year, you are competing always with doubts. What should I do? You are a little more frustrated than usual. You see that with your age, you should be already doing some results, maybe because you see around the players that you start to compete, they are younger. It's true that with 23 right now, it's very young, and I will not recommend to any player that is trying to be a tennis player or a paddle professional player or any sport in the elite, that 23 is very young, and maybe it's too early to decide to stop.
especially now, the longevity of the
Exactly.
players is a lot longer. You look at paddle, people 40 plus, tennis,
Exactly.
the big three, they've extended that. Well, big four with Murray have extended that onto a later age.
Yeah.
You feel like there's more time.
Exactly. There is a lot of time, but it's true that time with the investment that you need to do to play tennis, to travel, strings, rackets, you need more equipment because you're breaking a lot of strings. It's more investment and it's more difficult to handle the investment and the expenses.
Yeah, just the running cost of you traveling, playing tournaments, the coaches, all these things, the physios, it must really add up.
It's very
The operational expense of, if you call it as a business,
exactly.
as a tennis player, it's really
Yes.
difficult unless you're in the top players, like we were discussing about paddle as well.
Exactly.
But it's good that you actually enjoy coaching. Did you
love it.
always enjoy coaching?
Yes, from the beginning. I started to have my preparation, and it's already 12 years, 10 years in Bruguera, 9 years in Bruguera when I decided to switch to coach, and already I had already the methodology and the philosophy of the academy. But when I started to coach and help the kids with 16, 17 years old, I enjoyed it a lot, and I was very lucky that Mr. Bruguera helped me a lot for understanding how to coach someone.
Because you see a lot of people who are so close to being professional, they have no option. They fall back, they become coaches, and they hate it.
And they hated
And
it.
you can see they hate it, and they're there because they have no choice, right? So I always feel bad when I see these people. You know, you feel like they should just change industry. You know, do something else. Because coaching, if you're not enjoying it, if you don't enjoy it, it's really hard mentally to keep that. You know, you have to put in the energy to keep people happy on the court, and you have to give and give and give and give always on court, right?
Yes, and as I said, not always you feel like being in the court 5, 6, 7 hours, but it's true that you need to like it. You need to like the coaching part because it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. Every player has different way of understanding and way of learning, way of execute what you're asking. So you need to like it 100%.
When you were in the tennis academy, and were there any players that we would know now that you were playing with, training with at the time?
There was in that moment Garbiñe Muguruza, that the brothers also were there in the same academy with me. We have Dudi Sela, Ernest Gulbis in the academy. Ernest Gulbis also, he was there. Maybe I'm missing someone, but yeah, that players were there in that time. And then in the tournaments, we used to compete with Roberto Bautista, Albert Ramos, Viñolas. He's lefty now. He's older, but we used to play always together.
Nice. And you also had an amazing experience with the Premier Paddle. You actually did maybe what a lot of people in your tennis academy didn't do. You played at Roland Garros,
Yeah.
but you played paddle.
I played paddle. Yeah, I made my dream to play in Roland Garros, but with paddle. You see,
I mean,
I was
you didn't
very
say
lucky.
which sport, right? You didn't specify.
It's incredible. I was very lucky. I had the opportunity to go to this tournament. We won the first round of the qualification. So to pass to the main draw, they wanted to use the central court in the stadium, and my match was the first one played
So you played on
in the
Philippe
central.
Chatrier and
Yeah, I played there in the first match, official match for the first time in Roland Garros.
that's amazing. You got on history.
I don't know how
So
long
how
I
did you get there? What was the journey for you? Because obviously you retired from the professional game at that
Yes.
time. What made you decide to go back?
Yeah, no, honestly, I was competing always when there is an FIP or big tournaments close to Dubai. And in that moment, Premier was pushing, so I had the dream to play one Premier Padel because I was playing World Padel Tour, and I wanted to find a way to play Premier. And my friend Javi Perez, he was looking for partner also to play there. He used to play the A1 Tour, and I wrote him. He said, "Okay, look, let's try to play that one. I don't know if we're gonna enter with my points, but we were lucky. We entered nearly the last ones."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the last
And then we,
qualifiers.
yeah, and then we played on the first round against the Italian Marco Caseta and Simon Cremona. We won them, and then we lost in the next round.
Who did you lose to?
We go against Alonso Rodriguez, and I don't remember now the partner. He was, I think, Chamero.
How
Alonso
was it
Rodriguez
to
Chamero.
compete again at that level?
It's difficult because you are not in the same rhythm as they are. They are younger, and the speed of the ball is faster. Also, that day was pretty hot, so the ball was bouncing a lot. We couldn't play too many lobs. So we try to to find a way of the match, playing more from the volleys, from chiquitas, finding the spaces, but they were playing much better. Yes.
So having competed now in World Padel Tour and Premier Padel, what do you see as the evolution between the two? What's the difference?
I can say in the Premier Padel, it's difficult for me to compare because what I played in Roland Garros was really far from what was playing in the World Padel Tour. The Roland Garros, at the end, you arrive, you see the stadium, you enter in the same bathrooms and toilets as the top tennis players in the world. You have all the courts outside, a lot of people watching. So the scenario of this, you enter in the stadium from the bathrooms directly to the court, and you see all its huge atmosphere. So it take you from transportation to the hotel to the directly to the club. And this, I didn't have the opportunity to have this in the World Padel Tour. But it's true that the atmosphere in the World Padel Tour, in the qualifications, for example, in Barcelona or in Portugal, was fully crowded around the court. The scenario in Roland Garros is too big for me to compare with any other tournament.
I mean, it is too big, literally too big. Philippe Chatrier is too big for paddle right now. And I remember I went to the qualifiers of one of the last World Padel Tour events in Malaga, and it was in a club, in like a normal club, and it was packed for the qualifiers. So many people inside the club watching the qualifiers. I feel like now as the sport's gone a lot more international, it's great,
Yeah.
but you don't have as many fans in each city. Even in Dubai in November, we're going to have the Premier Padel from the 3rd to the 10th of November. And we saw it also with the World Cup when it was here. I think it was last year or
Yeah.
2 years ago. Full for the final,
Cool.
full for the semifinals, but then nobody. No one in the rounds before that. It's not quite reached that point where there's enough fans who are going to go first round, second round, like you have with tennis. But hopefully, we'll get there as the sport grows
Yes, I believe
internationally.
the professional tour is trying to do it the best, and little by little, by the time is gonna be for sure more
Yeah.
crowd.
Are you still connected with some of the professional players on the tour at the moment?
Yes, I don't speak weekly or something like this, but I try to be connected with the friends that I have
Mm.
from the tournaments that we were playing, and yeah, I used to.
One thing that always makes me very curious in paddle, and maybe you can help me on this, is when the players go to the bench and they have a coach on the bench, which I think is great, and I would love to see that in tennis. What can the coaches say to the players in the minute and a half that they have that can change the way they play? And how much impact do you think that has?
This has impact most of the times, in my opinion. Most of the times, it's more on the psychological part to find a way for the players to play the same match. Because, as I said before, paddle in this part is more difficult than tennis. You need to find a way to understand that your partner maybe wants to play one way and see the match one way, the solutions of this match one way, and I see a different solutions. So I think the job of the coach in that scenario is to find one commitment between them,
Like a
and
judge.
exactly like a judge, and then see if we can find the solutions inside the court in the same direction.
So it's kind of to give the synergy to the players so they play together.
Yes, it's true that sometimes the coach from outside can see things that the players from inside don't see it in the strategy part. But most of the times is helping this team to understand each other.
Who do you think is the best player in the Premier Padel right now?
For me, Ale Galan is consistent. He's physically, for me, far from the others, taking decisions 99% of the times correct, and always motivated for every point. Concentration, partnership, for me is the one that is in the best moment.
Why do you think he's playing so much better with Chingoto than with LeBron? At least in the last 6 months with LeBron, let's say, because they were amazing before.
Yeah, sometimes it's about the the atmosphere inside the court and outside the court. Sometimes it's the motivation that you have with your partner. If you have a project for 3 4 years and you are dealing with problems or you're dealing with different situations during this time, it's always a challenge to keep the motivation when it's a really long term of project. So I think only changing partners, if you're happy with the partner that you got next to you and you have a good relation with him and you are motivated to come back to the number one, I think is one of the aspects that for him is, I think, is the one helping.
There's been a lot of change in the partners, at least since I started watching paddle in the past 3 4 years. They change a lot. You know, they have a few bad tournaments and they move on. Was it always like this?
No,
Or
no. Honestly, before I think there was more commitment to the projects. But it's true that before the players they were not spending so much time together. Now with the new tour with the Premier Padel, maybe they need to travel outside home 6 7 8 weeks. Sometimes they are not coming back to home. Before this was not happening. We were traveling always by car from Madrid or from Barcelona to all the tournaments that were in Spain. And when you lose, you come back home. Now, no. Now, when you lose, you are in another country and you need to spend one more week waiting for the next tournament that is coming. Maybe you are in Brazil and you go to Venezuela. You need to wait for one more week to play the next tournament. You need to live with your partner. You need to spend more time with your partner. And maybe that's one of the aspects that the projects are shorter because the players are not used to this relation.
that's interesting, actually. Yeah, they spend more time together, and it's more amplified. It's more like a romantic relationship than just on the court, isn't it? If
Yeah,
they're spending so much time together, their days off and all of this, and I guess you have to get on a lot more.
exactly.
Do you think you can play paddle well with someone that you don't like?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it happens in the history, but it's not usual to not have a good relation with your partner and have results. I don't recommend it. I recommend to play always
I
with
mean,
someone that you have a good relation or you like.
I mean, you say Galan is the best player. Let's say any player who wants to, and no one's going to be as good as Galan, especially playing now. But let's say you want to focus on emulating his game.
Yeah.
How would you approach that? Let's say I come to you for a lesson. I said, Roberto, I want to play like Galan.
Uh, I don't know. In this scenario, I
Why are you
don't.
laughing? You don't think I
No,
can play like
I
Galan?
don't think it's gonna happen. You see, that's one of the parts I am very transparent with my students. I never, I try never to say something that I don't think just to find the student. Some players they say, "Look, I want to smash like Alan," but it's impossible.
Why is it impossible?
It's impossible because you need to have the same height, the same fitness, the same experience of the technically hold the racket exactly the same, have the same acceleration. There are a lot of the same reading anticipation for this lob. There are a lot of aspects, only a part of smash. It's reading when the lob is coming. He moved before already, anticipation. He calculates exactly the moment he's gonna impact. His arm maybe is longer than yours. Maybe he has more length, to smash with more power. The way he move his wrist, maybe you move it like this and he move it on the other side. So yeah, there is a book to hit the smash, but not everyone smash the same. Even with the same height and the same movement
No.
is not easy. So yeah.
At what age would you have to start playing paddle now to be a professional paddle player?
From when you are kids, because to be professional, there is a motricity, there is a part of commitment that you need to do it when you do one sport, not only in paddle, any sport that you commit to do it professionally. You have to work 4 6 8 hours every day for to become a professional player.
Because you did it coming from tennis, right? Obviously, a very good level of tennis,
Yes,
and you weren't playing paddle at a young age.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you think that's still possible today?
It's possible, but you need to achieve to 8 6 hours per day of training and have the basic of that tennis gave me for motricity, for competition, for the technique of how to touch the ball. switch grips exactly to adjust every ball, different heights and effects. These things are learning when you are more younger.
Do you ever wish that you'd started playing paddle instead of tennis at 4?
No, honestly, no. I am very happy that I commit and I try to play tennis, and I don't regret that it happened to me after when I was older. Uh, I tried tennis because I love it, and after that I tried paddle because I love it, and that's it.
Do you think your background in tennis is a bad thing sometimes for the way you play paddle? Do you feel it stops you compared to those who've only played paddle?
No, I don't think so. I think it's good to have different sports in your life that will help you to develop and to improve in different aspects. I don't think it's a problem to play tennis and paddle at the same time.
So, I mean, you've been involved in racket sports ever since you can pretty much remember,
Yes.
right? You have a family.
Yeah.
How do you manage that balance between the moment you leave your work now, your passion, your love for the sport? How do you balance your family life? And how do you switch off mentally?
Sometimes I don't switch off, honestly, because the work always with the phone, you are connected to attend your students and the club. But yeah, I try to spend a lot of time as possible with my kids, with my wife, which is the most important for me. And yeah, if I have 2 hours break, I want to spend this time with them. Even if I have to receive answers or write in the phone, I prefer to stay next to them or close to them than to be only in the club.
Do they play?
They play tennis and paddle, but honestly, I spend more time training them tennis because they like it at the moment. They like it more, and they decided to hold more time the tennis racket than the paddle racket.
I mean, I think tennis is the best foundation racket sport anyway, so I think it's the best way to go. I've seen people who only play paddle try to play tennis. It's a disaster.
It's exact-
They can't hit the ball at all. So, what's next for you?
yeah, for me next is keep trying to grow, growing as a person, growing as a coach, and why not growing as a player that connects me to the reality how paddle is changing. That's why I don't stop competing. I think it's important to keep competing, feeling the connection, that with the new players. Sometimes go to one FIP or one Premier Padel or A1 Tour is important, even if I know that this is not my level or this is not my job. Uh, I think it's good to be connected to this, how paddle is changing, how the players are doing in the tours, and to be connected to that is important for me.
How's the level in A1 paddle?
It's really high. Yes, it's high. It's very similar to Premier Padel, honestly.
So, why do the players choose to play one or the other?
I think the opportunities in A1 are a bit bigger because there are less players, but in the level of the top four in the A1, I think they are close to all the rest in the Premier Padel. The Premier Padel top four, top six are far from everyone. This is the truth. I think in this level, in this top four, Galan, Tapia, Coelho, Chingoto, Dineno, Estupa, I think they are still far from the rest of the players in the world. But the A1 can compete perfectly with all the rest of the players.
Do you think there will continue to exist the different tours, Premier Paddle and A1 Paddle?
I believe yes. I believe they are growing individually, and is an opportunity for a lot of players that cannot travel to Europe. I think it's growing a lot in US now. So a lot of players will start to compete also in the A1 tour. And if you see that you have results in that tour, why not to try to play worldwide in the Premier Padel?
You think paddle will take off in the US?
I think US is growing pretty fast. I don't know how soon it will be, but 100% it will be a sport to that we're gonna see a lot of players from there.
Have you played pickleball?
I played pickleball, yeah, sometimes.
You like it?
I like it, yeah, I like it.
It's good to hear. Not many people like it.
I like it, yes.
Pickleball gets so much hate from
Really?
from paddle players.
Why?
I don't know. They think it's not cool.
It's not cool.
But remember, a few years ago, paddle was not cool.
Yeah,
Whenever I told people I worked in paddle, they thought I was paddleboarding, you know, like
yeah,
this one. But now people know what the sport is, at least.
yeah.
And I like pickleball. I think it's a great combination of tennis and, you know, maybe badminton, table tennis.
Yeah.
Very quick, very fast. I like it. And singles is very tiring.
No, it's physically it's very tough. I played a few times, and I enjoy it a lot. You pass 3 hours and you didn't realize that you played 3 hours. Yeah, honestly, it's a sport that I recommend to the people because why not? All the racket sports I like, and this one is also very fun. It's growing fast also in the US. It's already stable.
Yeah, it's huge there.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of more clubs implementing a space for the pickleball.
Yeah, I look forward to that. So, as you mentioned, how much you value the time with your kids and your family, I don't want to keep you too much here so you can go and spend time with them. I really appreciate you coming here and taking the time. It's been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed it. So, just on a leaving note, what advice would you give to a coach who's starting his career today?
The advice I can give is get a lot of knowledge and information about the sport because sometimes we hesitate to go and coach the players. As we start normally, who start normally with the friends, where you have a lot of confidence. But then when you start teaching the people that is willing to pay and to improve and to spend time with you, if you don't teach correct, it's gonna be a wasting time for the player. And also when you see back on time, it's important that it's not only about the money or the that you need the job. It's also about the respect for the players that are willing to spend time and money for improve. So yeah, what I recommend is to get a lot of knowledge, do it all the formations that you require. There are a lot of new formations, new ways of coaching, academies all the world that you can get this information, get the basics to coach other players, and yeah, I fully recommend it to enter in the business because I think there are a lot of opportunities in all the world.
Roberto, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to having you come back when you compete, maybe in Wimbledon or the US Open next time. Have a lovely day. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.